It was my senior year of high school, and it was getting pretty close to prom night. I wanted to buy a ticket and go, but I hadn't asked anybody, and no one had asked me. I could have done the smart thing and asked the girl that I liked to go, but I was a wimp and instead went to my platonic friend of several years, Janet. I asked her, and what came off as probably really respectful, "Janet, if no one better asks us, would you like to go to prom together? You know, as friends." Classy, right? Well, amazingly, she said yes, and we found ourselves going together. We had a good time. We ate together with friends at the Rainforest Cafe and didn't really dance much at all. We mostly sat at the table and talked to each other and just had a nice night. While driving her home, I was toying around with this idea in my head. I wanted to kiss her. I wanted to make her night rounded out. I wanted to give her the complete prom experience. Now, I had never had a girlfriend before, so I didn't know how this sort of thing worked. So I walk her to her door, and I stop her right before we get there. And I look around. I'm there in my tux with my royal blue tie, and she's there with her royal blue dress cascading down to the ground, and the flies are buzzing around the street lamps, and the crickets are chirping, and her hair and her makeup are kind of messed up because she's been having fun all night. She kind of has a twinkle in her eye, and it was a nice moment for that sort of thing. I thought to myself, all right, Andy, it's now or never. But there was one big problem. I'm almost 6 feet tall, and she's only 5 feet tall. So if I lean in and try and do something funny, she might react adversely and freak out. She'd never had a real boyfriend. And so I decide, all right, I'm going to be sneaky about this. And so I go, "Janet." She says, "What?" I go, "I need to tell you something," in a soft tone of voice. So she leans in and up, and I leaned in and down, and I opened my mouth as if to tell her a secret. And then I pursed my lips and leaned in close and pecked her on the mouth. And she looks at me with eyes wide and astonishment for a couple of seconds, and then her mouth blossoms into this mischievous grin. And I sort of don't know what to do next, and so I place my hand on her back and push her toward the door and say, "Have a nice day," like I'm working at Subway again or something. Well, as I'm driving home, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, that felt good. That felt really good. And we texted a little bit that night, and the next day after school we decided that even though we were going to be going to different colleges, that we would be boyfriend and girlfriend. And as I think back to that night and that particular moment, I know that if I hadn't have decided to kiss her just to, make her day, that we wouldn't be boyfriend and girlfriend as we are right now, 3.5 years strong. And I think that made me realize that sometimes you just got to seize the moment and things will pay off tenfold.